And I determined that throughout the United States in 1 year, businesses lose approximately, again this is conservative, $2.5 trillion a year in wasted opportunities. You know, opportunists, because they come by us every moment. You never know when you're going to miss one. And so you always have to be prepared. The United States just won the Spanish-American War. The United States Navy was considered the best Navy in the world with the most accurate guns in the world. There was an organization called the Bureau of Ordnance, which was like the Navy's R&D organization, and they did a study and they found out that out of 9,500 shots fired from naval guns, you ready for this? About 121 hit their targets. That's about 0.012%, or about 1 out of 100 shots hit their target. Now why? Well, at that time guns were mounted on a ship, stable. They were bolted down. You had rolling, you had pitching, you had ships going in different directions. But the United States Navy was considered the standard of excellence in terms of accuracy. They didn't think there was any problem. So all of a sudden there was a British admiral named Percy Scott. He was in the South China Sea, and he noticed one of his gunners was much more accurate than the other gunners. And what he did was he subconsciously aimed his gun as the ship was rolling. And he was very, very accurate. So Admiral Scott decided to test his theory out, and what he did, he put elevating gears on the guns. And he put on a telescope. It increased the accuracy of his guns on his ship by 3,000%. Now, he was an innovator, but he wasn't a product champion. So what he decided to do is just, kind of keep the secret to himself. But there was a U.S. Navy lieutenant in the South China Sea by the name of Sims, Lieutenant Sims. And he was an eager innovator. He was somebody who grabbed an opportunity right away. And so he started running with it, and he started documenting this stuff. And he took all the data that he got from this British Admiral Scott, and he started submitting it to the Bureau of Ordnance, United States Navy, and the United States Navy Department. Very, very detailed reports. Well, he expected the Navy to come back and quickly and enthusiastically say, tell us more about this. 3,000% increase in accuracy? Now, what does that mean, 3,000%? Remember, 9,500 shots, 121 hits. 3,000% increase in accuracy means you get 3,600 hits out of 9,500. So instead of 1 out of 100, you now reduced it to 1 out of 3. You would think the United States Navy would jump at this, since their main mission was to destroy enemy ships. What did they do? They ignored Lieutenant Sims. Totally ignored him. So he said, I've got to get more data. So he started documenting extremely detailed data. So he sent it to the United States Navy again. He started distributing it to a wider military audience. No response at all. Nothing. Now, you don't do that to somebody who's optimistic, conscientious, and an innovator. They get angry. So what he started to do, he started ramping up his campaign. He started sending this information to his junior officers in the fleet in the South China Sea. The United States Navy said, uh-oh, we got to answer this guy. So they came back and they said to him, look, this thing called continuous aim gunfire, in other words, putting elevator gears on a gun and using a telescope, just can't work. It's just not feasible. Trust me, we're the smartest people in the world. It doesn't work. So, and they said, hey, by the way, we're the best Navy in the world. Who do you think designs these guns? Not some little junior lieutenant in the South China Sea. What do you know about this stuff? Okay? Now he is really angry. His tone becomes strident and pungent. And he starts distributing this to a wider area. So they come back, you ready for this? And they said, we'll prove it. So they took a Navy turret and they put it on land that doesn't roll. And they proved that continuous aim gunfire doesn't work. Well, now he really, really gets angry, and he starts casting aspersions on the motivation and the competency of the experts in the U.S. Navy Department. His career is basically shot at this point. So what does he do? Great innovator, great opportunist. He puts this all together into a major report, and he sends it to the president, Teddy Roosevelt, who used to be the Secretary of the Navy. Roosevelt is an opportunist, very smart guy. So guess what he does? He has Lieutenant Sims, puts him in charge of the entire naval gunnery range, and then he goes against hierarchy in the Navy, and he puts him in charge of implementing continuous aim gunfire. Now, what does that tell us? Why didn't the Navy go for this? Why don't people in major corporations go for what seems like brilliant ideas? Why didn't Xerox implement, in their Park organization, the initial Macintosh design that Steve Jobs sucked up right away? Why didn't GM and Ford and Chrysler in 1972 ramp up gas mileage and quality? When GM in 1972 saw Toyotas coming off the dock, said, hey, those are cheap Japanese cars. Yeah, they're pretty well made, but they're not American cars. We don't have to worry about them. How long have you been doing this stuff? I said, let me tell you what I know about your business. I know enough that if you and I put our heads together with our teams, we could probably come up with an enormous opportunity for you to do all the things I talked about if we teamed up. Here's the shocker. You ready for this? He goes, I totally agree with you. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it. The two vice presidents were like crestfallen. It was like, they saw dollar signs, they saw career opportunities, they saw opportunities for innovation, they saw opportunities for creativity, they saw everything. On one of his mattresses. He says, well, we're about 40 years. He says, so what? He says, could I ask you a little bit of a favor? He says, well, what would the favor be now? He says, when I die, he says, can I leave you some money and could you buy a good quart of Irish whiskey like Jameson, pour it over my grave once a week so I can have a taste? He looks at me and says, well, I guess I could do that, but let me ask you this. Would it be okay if I filtered through my kidneys first?